I have been playing with the new ROG Xbox Ally X for about a week or so now. I did an entire review on the base model, but I bought the X version for my own personal usage. This is the one that more closely aligned to what I wanted out of a PC handheld. I've actually been thoroughly impressed by the ROG Xbox Ally X. It is a night and day difference, performance-wise, compared to the base model. Everything is much snappier, and there is a big difference in actual games. You have the Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor, the best that you can get right now in an actual handheld, unless you ratchet your way up to a GPD Win 5 with the Ryzen Max Plus 395 processor. But that is kind of a Frankenstein's monster. There's a weird external battery attachment. It's a big mess. But with the Z2 Extreme, combined with Windows gaming, pretty much the world is your oyster when it comes to actually playing games. Of course, not the highest settings, not the highest frame rates, but I haven't really run into many games that won't play well at any type of frame rate. Needless to say, it is a very capable handheld, and it also has the same processor that MSI and Lenovo are using in their MSI A8 and the Lenovo Legion Go 2. I know a lot of people are going to point to those other devices as comparison points, and talk about how they are better handhelds, they have better, bigger screens, Lenovo has an OLED screen with VRR, and so on and so on. Now, in my scenario, the ROG Xbox Ally X and those other devices are bigger than I would want a PC handheld to be. I prefer these to be a little bit more portable, a little bit more handheld, because the entire purpose of this is so that you can bring it with you on the go. Although, in my scenario, it's a lot more couch gaming than on-the-go gaming. But if you want a larger screen, play on a TV. The 7-inch screen here is a pro, not a con, on my personal list. Despite having glasses, my eyesight still isn't bad enough that I would have any issues playing on a 7-inch screen. It is actually the screen size that I think fits the most for portability, and for the size, they just have bigger bezels here that they probably could have gotten rid of to shrink it a little bit. But despite Asus reusing the same screen from their previous devices, this is a solid IPS all around. 7-inch, 1080p, 120Hz, all of the fixings that you want a device like this to have, and you need a device like this to have. I would definitely and surely want an OLED screen instead, make no mistake, but I really have no issues with this screen. I have played with the Lenovo Legion Go 2 in the past, and at some point we need to have a conversation about how big is too big for a handheld which is meant to be portable. But all of that doesn't matter. I cannot buy a Lenovo Legion Go 2, and I cannot buy an MSI Claw AA8. You have probably seen some reviews from content creators that have gotten both devices. But a quick search in Canada tells me nope, no MSI Claw A8 or indication of it coming anytime soon. So I quite literally cannot buy that device even if I wanted it. On the other hand, the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is actually out, and I look forward to reviewing it in January of 2026, when apparently that is when Lenovo decides they are going to ship it. I don't know if they made 5 of these, and this is the 6th or what, but having to wait 3 months for a device is not something I want to do. So even if I did not like the ROG Xbox Ally X, which I absolutely do, if I didn't and I wanted a competing option that wasn't already existing, the newer models from the competing companies you cannot buy, does not have stock. There's barely any reviews to actually look at and tell me if it is a good purchase, all of that sort of thing. So by default, the ROG Xbox Ally X wins. But this device doesn't really need to have comparison points for it to actually be worth purchasing. It is the most powerful device under $1,000 US. The Z2 Extreme is pretty awesome. But when you combine that with an 80 watt-hour battery, you now have power and battery life so that you can play at high frame rates for as long as you want. This is measured in hours, not minutes. No more being scared of taking it off a plug and having to charge it right away, like the original ROG Allies did. We have gone further in technology. We have 80 watt-hours and a good processor now. Now, I am coming from the previous Asus ROG Ally X. That was my PC handheld of choice. And the main difference between the two when it comes to performance is everything that I used to play at 25 or 30 watts on that device is now pretty much 15 to 17 watts on the ROG Xbox Ally X. That is a lot of battery savings, that is a lot of lower temperatures, that is a lot of better performance as well. Now, is that absolutely worth upgrading for? Is it worth you selling that Ally X? Probably cost you a few $100s to get this one? Probably not. I don't know if that would move the needle for a lot of people. But there is a lot of upgrades here compared to the original ROG Ally X. They basically took that and said, how do we just improve this even further? The same way they did from the Ally to Ally X, and they did it again from the Ally X to the Ally X. Just put Xbox at the front of it. But you get better ergonomics and better comfort with the grips, you get better performance, and so on. There is a lot to like here. But that takes me to one of my favorite new features in this device that I have not seen in any other handheld, and it is the rumble and speakers. The previous Allies always had the best speakers on the market. They were fantastic from the start. But they have somehow improved them on this device to where the sound is amazing, but also you get little vibrations through the grips, so you feel them as you're playing in the grips. That just enhances all of it. It is my favorite feature. It is the hardest thing to show on a video and on camera because it is sound and feeling based. But as you are playing, as the sound is ratcheting it up, all of that sort of thing, you feel it in your hands as like a rumble, as like a little feedback of whatever is happening. Either the sound is bouncing through the case, or it is rumble, or it's a combination of both. But it is so fantastic. The weight is also something that confused me. When I picked this up for the very first time at an Asus press event, I asked the employee there if it was a fake model, if this was the real model, because it felt so light. This is 37 grams heavier than the ROG Ally X, the previous one. But to my hands, this feels lighter. This is, weirdly enough, because of the size of it, because of how much bigger they made it, they were able to spread out things a little bit better. And so when you lift this and you hold it, if you're holding it with two hands, you don't feel that weight. If you hold it with one hand, you of course feel it. One of the craziest things, it feels lighter in my hands. I honestly went into this with the lowest of expectations. I love the ROG Ally X. So in my mind, I was like, how much better can you actually make a device from that? There are little things you can do, and they kind of did that here. Now, the new Xbox UI is actually pretty fantastic. I'm a big fan of it. It is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There is a lot of work they still have to do. And I do run into a number of little bugs here and there. But if we are comparing the new Xbox UI to the previous setup of, hey, when you unbox this device, you're just going to see the Windows desktop and, well, good luck, I guess. This is a monster difference for usability. Armory Crate is nicely built into the software, so you can easily adjust whatever you want. Steam is easily accessible, and those games actually get imported into the Xbox UI. And really, this is the sort of integration that you want if you're going to move me to a different front end like the Xbox UI. I have all of my games on Steam. I still want to play those. So having this here makes it easy. Again, it is not perfect. My non-Steam games do not show up here, but it is 2 clicks for me to get back to Steam and then boot up there. So work around for now. Hopefully something they can add in the future. Now, whether this is an Xbox device or not, it doesn't really matter. The end result here is you get a better experience for anybody that wants to use a PC handheld on Windows. And yeah, Windows is a big pro here. It's the compatibility. Windows is something that I personally want. Whatever I want to do, I can do in Windows. There is no game where I have to go and look at ProtonDB to see if it is an anti-cheat game that can even run on the operating system. No, it just runs. It's Windows. Call of Duty, Destiny 2, Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, and so on and so on and so on. No workarounds. There's no weird things that I have to do to install another launcher, all of that. The Xbox UI has even that built in. So you just click another launcher and it'll install it for you. It's easy. But even when it comes to things like mods and other things besides games, I don't have to jump into Google and type whatever that mod is and then add Linux or SteamOS at the end and then find a 30-step process to figure out how to get this mod to work on that device. I just click the exe and it works. When we look at and talk about an off-the-shelf device that just works, that just plays the games that are the most popular in the world, the Call of Duties, the EA anti-cheat games, the GTA 5 Online, this is it. This is what you want. You want Windows that functions like an actual console, which is this, and works. The Steam Deck is great for a lot of people. It has been doing very well over the last few years, but the Steam Deck isn't for everyone. I can't play the most popular games in the world on the Steam Deck. Battlefield 6 just came out and you cannot play it on a Steam Deck. GTA 6 is going to be coming out in a few months. I don't know if that's going to be playable on a Steam Deck considering GTA 5 Online isn't. So on and so on and so on. There are going to be more scenarios rather than less scenarios of this popping up. And so at the end of the day, when it comes to games compatibility and when it comes to a PC handheld that I want to use, I want to be able to play games. And those are the games I want to play. But none of that really matters though, because you can dual boot Linux if you wanted to on this device. You could put Windows on half of the storage and put Linux, Bazite, SteamOS on the other half and play with it there. So there isn't really a downside, even if you do like Linux and you want Linux. You could buy this and put Linux on it. It will be the most powerful Linux device that you can get. So there's all sorts of pros here. And so kind of wrapping up my thoughts here on the ROG Xbox Ally X. I think it's pretty awesome. I can't point to a lot of negatives here. This has the power, this has the battery, this has the controls, the speakers, the sound, all of it in one package. It is expensive, for sure, and especially if you are coming from a previous ROG Ally X. It is not going to be worth the extra $1,000 to play this. I can tell you that right now. There isn't $1,000 worth of upgrades if you are coming from that. But if you can sell the X for a good amount and you have to pay $200 to get this, there is a lot here that I would say maybe that's worth it. But this is going to be up to you. But no matter which way you look at this device, for the actual hardware that is inside of it, it is not overpriced. It is expensive, but it isn't overpriced. For what you're getting here, a Z2 Extreme for under $1,000 with an 80 watt-hour battery, plus all of the other benefits and features that are packed inside, I don't know how you can point to this and say that this is overpriced. It is in line with what these devices cost. You can go and look at HX370 devices, which is the processor that this is kind of based on. All of those devices are $1,200 to $1,300 US and above. And those don't have 80 watt-hour batteries either. So when you look at all of this combined into one device and Xbox's brand on it as well, you can start to see why it makes sense, but you're going to have to shell out some money to grab one. For me, I actually think it's worth it. I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit, and I could see this as my one and done PC handheld. But I'm excited about the future as well. The moment that we get backwards compatibility with Xbox 360 games, which apparently is something they're already working on, if I could play Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon on this device, games that I own through Xbox's service or some other way, I will be the happiest person alive, because those are two games that are stuck on the 360 that I really want to play elsewhere. So sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think about the ROG Xbox Ally X. Did you pick one up? What do you think about it? Or is it on your radar for something to grab? Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about handhelds like this one. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.